we are live with Major League Fishing pro Cody Meyer, and we're just getting off the water. We can't tell you where we're getting off the water, but had a fun day with Cody. I'm going to turn the camera around, Cody, here for a second, just so I can look at myself, make sure I'm... Actually, I don't want to look at myself, but yeah, so you guys might know I'm what I do for a living is I'm a freelance videographer, and one of my great clients is Major League Fishing. And so today I was out on the water with Cody Meyer, and let's flip the camera back. And Cody, how long have you been a touring bass professional?
So I have been fishing the FLW Tour for 8 full years now. This is actually my first year of Major League Fishing, and this has been my childhood passion, my dream. I can remember being 5 years old telling my parents, hey, I want to be a professional bass angler. They looked at me obviously like I was nuts, because every kid wants to be Michael Jordan or Peyton Manning, whoever, but I wanted to be a bass guy. So it's been a long road, but like I said, I've been doing it for 8 years. I love it. I say it all the time. I live in Northern California. I'm a full-time trucker, part-time fisherman. I travel from California to Florida to New York, everywhere in between. And you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world. I absolutely love it.
What do you, like, when you were growing up, what were some of the pitfalls? Like, I mean, there had to be some huge barriers to try to do this, but you kept on going. You obviously didn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, so California, there's some great fishing, but really the heart of bass fishing is here in the South. I mean, the whole southern, the area, the lakes, I mean, that's where, fishing really started for tournaments. And so for one, having that was hard because there's not a lot of big tournaments out in California. And then to come do the big tournaments is a lot of travel. But, really for me, it was just, I had so much passion and love for it. I kept doing it. I started off fishing a tournament when I was 15, my first tournament, and I actually won the tournament. I won $500, felt like a millionaire. I really took off. And FLW came out there. I did a co-angler thing a little bit. But then I worked my way up to, say, like the Rayovac Everstart Costa level, and I qualified for the Forest Wood Cup doing that. And once I came out here and I fished the Forest Wood Cup, I got 3rd place, my first one, and 2nd place in my 2nd Forest Wood Cup. Won a bunch of money, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And it's so cool because I remember watching guys like Larry Nixon, Roland Martin, Bill Dance. I know all those guys now, and I get to compete against them. So, like I say, it's really a dream come true, but it was very, very hard. I just remember in high school, I did my senior report on tournament bass fishing, and a bass fisherman in high school back then, you're the dork, so it was definitely hard. A lot of people said you're crazy, you're nuts, but like I said, here I am. My aunt always tells this story. We grew up on a farm pond. Like I said, I learned to fish. I'd watch some guys throw a spinnerbait. I'd go down to the farm pond and do it. And she goes, I used to take my kids, my cousins, to football practice, and here this poor little boy would be down in the pond fishing in the rain, in the snow, whatever. He was out there fishing. And now it's like, man, how cool is that?
Absolutely. What would you tell an aspiring a young bass, a guy that wants to be a professional bass fisherman growing up, young kid?
You definitely have to love it. I mean, you have to love it. You have to want it, because if you don't love it, 100%, it's just going to be too hard to make it, because you got to take the good times with the bad times, and there's going to be a lot more bad times than good times. But in the end, when you have those good times, it makes it that much better. And, you just have to, have a passion for it. You're going to have to go out there and find sponsors and realize what sponsors want. I mean, when someone sponsors you, you have to help them sell their product. You have to help, promote their stuff, or it's not going to work. And because it's a financial, it's a burden. I mean, it's a lot of money to come out and do this, and you need a new truck, a new boat, a lot of gas. Prices are going up. For me, it's $1,500 each way from California. So, if you love it and you have the passion, don't let anything get in the way.
What are some of the things that people don't see as far as the side that isn't so glamorous?
Well, you definitely, when I go to one of these tournaments and meet guys. They go, man, you're a fisherman. You get go out there, have a beer, and it's like, no. The days that it's not glamorous is the days that it's raining. They're not biting. You have to be out there because your competition's out there. The days where I just came from the Potomac River, an FLW event, it was 95 degrees, 90% humidity, fish aren't biting. Those are the days it's not that fun. But you know what? I always say it could always be worse. And once you figure something out, how to catch fish in those conditions, it's all worth it.
One of the things that I think is really, really interesting about you is that you recently held the spotted bass world record.
I did.
And
yes.
You've told me this story a few times, but this is amazing. I mean, spotted bass really aren't supposed to get this big. Go ahead and tell this story.
Yeah. So the spotted bass, when I caught it, it was certified at 10.80, so 1080. It was the world record. I have a line world class record for 6-pound test, but these spots are freaks. I mean, when you think about spotted bass, you think of little 12-inch fish, pound and a halfers, and these spots are enormous. It's a lake in Northern California. I grew up fishing. They introduced a landlocked salmon called a kokanee. It's a coho kokanee salmon, and they grow really slow. They swim really slow. They have no bones in their tail and their fins or their back, so fish can eat them sideways, tail first, head first, whatever, and they just thrive on these things. And these spots, for instance, this 1080 was 22 3/4 inches long, so it wasn't very long, but their back is like that, and it was 26 inches around. So they're literally wider than they are long. It's unbelievable. And that day when I caught the fish, it was a very special day. I was out with my good friend J.R. Wright. We went out. I was going to do some photos for tacklewarehouse.com. I pull up to a point first thing in the morning, and I catch a spot that weighed 6.66. I thought, okay, cool. The day is complete. We can get a photo with that. About 5 minutes later, I caught an 8.35, a massive spotted bass. And this particular lake, it sounds crazy, but I've caught a lot of 8-pounders. And, I mean, if you catch an 8-pound largemouth, that's a huge one. But an 8-pound spot is unbelievable. So we did that. We ran to another point. My buddy caught a 747. Which was his personal best spot, and then right after that I hooked this, what I thought was a beaver in the water, which was a 1080, and I can remember casting out there. I was throwing a Strike King Ocho, and it was sinking, and I set the hook, and I literally looked at my rod like I'm snagged, and then got on the troll motor, chased that thing around. The fish came up, we netted it. I was shaking, when you're so excited your hands are shaking. I weighed it, and I knew it was somewhere around, 10 3/4 pounds, which the previous world record was 10.38. So I called my buddy. He was a California Fish and Game warden, and I said, Tim, what do I do? I got this spot. And he goes, Cody, I'll be there in 3 hours. So as I'm talking to him, I'm retying, and remember, I followed this fish out probably about a 1/4 mile offshore. Off this point in this deep Clearwater lake, and I fire that bait straight back out there, just retied. As I'm talking to him, I feel a bite, and I set the hook, and it was an 8.29. So we had 41.5 pounds, for 5 spotted bass that day. It was amazing. We released the fish, and then just recently it got broke. It could have been the same fish, who knows? But this place is so special; they grow about 1 pound a year. So really, really cool to have that in my backyard.
That's an amazing story. What is just to kind of wrap things up here, you're new to Major League Fishing. What's your favorite thing about this format?
So, this format to me is a purest form of bass fishing. I don't want to say anyone can, but it's a lot easier, when you go out there to a lake and you have 3 full days of practice, because you're not under the gun, you're not under pressure, and you could go out there and you can find a pattern. It might take 2 days to do it, but Major League Fishing, you have to go catch them. You have to catch them right away. So that's really cool. And I will say this, when I'm a huge fan of the show, I watch it all the time. Sure, you see the hashtags, MLF Heartbeat, blah, blah, blah. You think, yeah, it's probably intense, but when you're in the moment, it's way more intense than a tournament. The reason why say you're out there fishing, you don't know what the other guys have at a normal tournament. So you're relaxed, you're fishing, you might take your foot off the gas a little bit, and really enjoy the time. When you're in Major League Fishing and you're getting behind and guys are catching, it is literally you're racking your brain trying to think, what do I have to do? What are they doing? What is happening right here, right now? Because it's just a whole new level of stress, but it's good. It makes you really think, and I think in the long run, for me, being a tournament guy, this will help me become a better tournament angler, just because if you can handle all this pressure, you can handle a lot of things in a normal tournament.
Cody, I appreciate you talking with us. I know you're tired. You didn't have to do this, but this is one hell of a nice guy right here, and a hell of a fisherman.
Thank you.
And another very nice guy is this guy driving right here, Martin Carner, boat official extraordinaire, and just a very nice gentleman. So we're going to wrap this up. I appreciate you watching. So long from somewhere that I can't tell you, but I appreciate you watching. Thank you.